Now it's time for Ben Murphy of IP Group. Welcome back to Ecosummit. A gentleman, a real one from the UK.
Hey.
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Hallo. Ich würde gerne anfangen mit 2 Fakten. So eins, für meine Sommerferien in der Universität war ich ein Hausmeister in Deutschland, in Bonn, in einer Schule. Und so, ich habe ein bisschen Deutsch gelernt daran. Ich denke, das war der Anfang von meiner Cleantech-Profession. Ist ein guter Empfang. Ein bisschen Arbeit in Deutschland als ein Hausmeister. Die Sekunde Fakt, ich habe nicht so viel Deutsch gesprochen. Und so, I must continue in English, sadly. So that's my attempt. Danke. So why am I here? I'm here to tell you about the company that I work for, IP Group. Tell you about the kind of businesses that we try to build, how we fund, and to make connections, maybe with other funders, maybe with early-stage companies looking for investors. It's kind of an easy job for me to present it, thankfully, because we're a fund with quite a proven track record. We've been around for 15 years. We have a greater than 20% IRR over that period, including specifically within the cleantech team. Our market cap as a floated company is close to €1 billion. It's nice to use euros to make it higher. We have built around 80 businesses in the portfolio and are expanding globally. We have an office now in the US. We work with universities over there as well as the US federal labs. And in the cleantech team, we're particularly keen to make partnerships in mainland Europe, which is part of why we're here. And while we're probably the leading IP commercialization company in the UK, I understand that probably we're not known out here. And that's why we're really grateful for Jan to let us come here and present on stage. I thought it'd be good to start by telling you about one of the companies that we've built, so you get a flavor of the work that we do and the way that we've been successful. So I'm going to tell you about one of the companies called Xeros, which was founded back in 2006. And the meeting started with a professor bringing a little tub just like this of a unique polymer bead that he's patented, stating that it had very interesting absorbent qualities. It could really continue to absorb things. And he was curious to see if a business could be built around that. And the meeting started, and questions were asked, and they got into it, and they said, OK, we'll go do some looking around this. And they thought maybe it's good for leather tanning, maybe for the absorbent thing there. And they did more research and thought maybe you could make a washing machine around this. It's very absorbent. Maybe we could try and do something with that. And they thought it might be a bit odd to do that in a consumer place. It'd be odd to have a washing machine with loads of beads swirling around a bit like a beanbag in your house, and maybe people wouldn't go for that, but maybe the industrial market is the place to go. Did some more research, thought, well, we can have a go at this, put a bit of money into it, and started to build it up. So from 2006 to 2010, it became Time's second invention of the year. I don't know what number 1 was. In 2011, they did their first full-scale commercial trials of an industrial-sized washing machine, and launched their prototype consumer market in the US in 2013. They IPO'd 2015, were voted the best new listed company in Europe, and now I checked today, they sit at €375 million floating on the AIM market in the UK. And all that from a business that just started out with some beads in a meeting in a university in Leeds that my company helped to build up alongside others into something that's really successful and seeking to change the world. And that's the kind of business that we like to build. And really, the thesis for our company, our fund, centers around the idea that in research labs, in universities, there is amazing science, amazing research that can change the world. And as you look at the list up here, you see things that all started out in university labs or research labs and have become businesses now that have changed the face of the world. And that's at the heart of the thesis of how we try to invest, to build that up from the very beginning. And to tell you a bit more about that model and why we think that particularly works for clean tech and why I'm quite happy to talk to you guys about it today, I think it's not a standard model. It's not the raise a load of money, call it Venture Fund 1, spend it for 5 years, exit for 5 years, and then suddenly say at the end of that, well, it's too soon to exit. It didn't, you have to start again. It's a different model. We get our pipeline from leading universities that we have partnership agreements with, and we get finance from major equity funds in the City of London where we're based, but we have offices across the UK and in the US as well. We do our first investment. It's always an early stage investment, so we start early, taking technology risk, and that enables us to go on and keep funding as we continue. do Series A rounds, B rounds, C rounds. We've done anything up to, I think, a £40 million round was the largest that we singularly invested, so the round was larger than 40. That was our contribution to the round. And part of our special sauce within that is our business building teams that sit in different sectors. We have teams that do recruitment to find great CEOs. We have teams that help with the legal support, administrative support, accounting. And that kind of company that's around me is how we build up businesses like Xeros that I told you about. By floating on public markets, we have an evergreen model that enables us to continue to invest, as I said. And we're active across 4 sectors. So 2 of them in the life sciences, 2 of them in the physical sciences. So in the life sciences, it's health tech and biotech, which is really medical equipment and drug development. And in the physical sciences side, it's clean tech and then the very imaginatively named tech, which is basically everything else in the physical sciences side of things. One of the businesses that we're probably best known for in the UK is not in the clean tech space, called Oxford Nanopore Technologies, that have a quite unique USB stick-sized device. They're a unicorn, maybe I just said that. And on this device, they can take the DNA, the double helix of DNA, split it in 2, and pull one half of that double helix through a little hole, the nanopore. And as it goes through that hole, it can measure the base of CG, T, and A. And that's another business that we've helped build up from a very early stage to now being one of the UK's handful of unicorns that hopefully will change the face of DNA sequencing. A little bit more about the clean tech team itself, the team that I work in. So we've invested around 75 million euros in our history since around 2003. We've had exits, which is great. Our largest was Oxford Catalysts, which maybe some of you might know. Velocis was another name they went by. We currently have a portfolio of around 22 companies, which shows the success we've had in investing in creating businesses that are still around. The size of the value of that portfolio, not what we hold, the value of those companies that probably would not have existed if we had not funded them, is around €500 million. And now we've expanded so that in the US, we've made our first investments now there actually out of the National Renewable Energy Laboratory in the US. This is our portfolio. I'm happy to talk to any of you who are interested afterwards about it. We try to divide it across 4 sectors because of the nature of the way that we work, where we get pipeline from universities. We have to be very reactive to respond to what's brought to us by those universities. But maybe a little bit like the cheesy German beginning. We hope whatever kind of you're interested in as a sector or whatever stage of investment you're interested in, we can kind of try and speak your language. Examples to highlight now to give you a feeling of the breadth of the portfolio. So Decosi is a battery management system with a unique technology to radically improve that sector. Zuri, you'll luckily hear right after me. They are a company I'm very passionate about that are trying to bring energy to off-grid communities in Africa. First Light Fusion are a particularly exciting company that I think are probably the best chance at nuclear fusion in the world. And the University of Oxford spin-out that we funded, we led half of a £26 million round into that company. We were particularly confident in it. All the way through to Mixergy, which is an early-stage company that we've just funded out of Oxford. We'll be releasing a press release about it this week. That's smart boiler technology from someone who did the bold choice of doing their PhD in Oxford in hot water technology, which is quite an admirable choice in itself. Xeros, I've told you about. Sea capture is probably the lowest energy carbon capture solvent chemistry in the world. Engenix is a University of York spin-out that is just at an early stage that does biologically inspired algorithms to design circuits better. Again, I'm happy to talk to anyone about this afterwards. The key summary for you to take away is that we're probably one of the world's leading IP commercialization companies. We've got a great track record. We're trying to speak your language. We're trying to speak some German and come out here and meet everyone. And what we do is take research. We try and evolve great ideas into world-changing businesses. Thank you.